Okay, so welcome to week 5 of PSHS 6240 here at George Washington University. As you can see, I'm still a little bit in quarantine now, but feeling a lot better now than I did a week ago. So should be done with this in the next couple of days. So announcements, next paper is due February 7th, the WMD terrorism paper, which you all have the assignment on Blackboard. So everyone should have their paper back. Just a couple of issues. Again, far too much background. Don't need to go into the depths of Fort Hood or Orlando or anything like that. Just get to the point, get to the analysis. Do not repeat definitions. A lot of you repeated the definitions in class or the DoD definitions or others. One, there's a problem with those definitions, but two, I got those definitions. You don't need to repeat them. I want to get to your analysis. And sometimes those definitions aren't applicable, like Dresden or some of those other issues where those definitions are contorted to exclude certain actions. So what I wanted was your analysis based on the lecture and your thoughts. Again, focus on the criteria. Criteria is the most important thing. Your paper should be counted on that. And then a couple people put passive voice. I don't mean to sound like your 6th grade English teacher here, but this sentence is passive. The ball was bounced by the boy. It's passive because the object of the sentence, verb, subject, right? This sentence is active. Subject, verb, direct object. Try and make your sentences active. They are very hard to read when they are passive. So again, sometimes you have to even label your sentences like you're in 6th grade, subject, verb, direct object, etc. I do that to make sure my writing is clearer. So review week 4, again, we have terrorist adaptation. And, will ISIS be successful? Actually, I put that question mark because most people say ISIS was deteriorating in the last year or two, but it's actually sparking back up now. And the question is it successful? Question mark. Are we in phase 3 or phase 4 of this fight? And what are the variables to success? And are we seeing that schism? And, there's always that schism in the, for a terrorist organization that I drew out in my lecture. So are we seeing that schism? And you've seen that schism in other organizations, as you read about, where there's a turn towards radicalization and the organization spins to irrelevancy. And then we covered WMD terrorism. You saw Dirty War, the movie, excellent flick. And then we talked about the Om Sharikyo case study. Why was Om successful? Why wasn't it? What were the variables for Om's success? Or why did it turn to failure? These are the questions that plague us as we go forward. And the question is, why was Om successful while Al-Qaeda and ISIS were not? And I kind of laid out that in the discussion points. And then you had the Rajneeshi case study. Not all terrorists are militant Islam or right-wing extremists. You had a religious cult there conducting a pseudo WMD biological attack. And that was the first biological attack since the anthrax, or in our history, the second is the anthrax attacks in 2001, which I didn't cover as a case study. So that covers WMD terrorism. You have the paper there, and then moving on to the paper, again, 1,200 to 1,500 words. Do not go to 1,501 words outside the bibliography and the cover page. Again, designed to be concise. Your writing is designed to be as concise as possible. You might have to do some outside research, but again, I want your analysis on the scenarios that I provided. And then the scenarios. Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula with ricin, Syria with sarin, ISIS with plague. Choose a scenario. Is it a threat? Why or why not? And talk about the science and how the science limits the ability to employ an effective WMD attack. So that's paper 2. Again, you have the scenario in the Blackboard. That's where I'm going with this paper. And then again, we have to continue with the class. So we have the week 5 preview. You have the comparative counterterrorism areas. You have the United States, we have Israel, and we have the European Union. And, look at the U.S. counterterrorism strategy, Israel counterterrorism strategy, what works, what doesn't, why doesn't it work? So that covers this week. If there's any questions or issues, please let me know, and I look forward to your discussion.